But the idea that border security in and of itself, of fencing or non-fencing, is going to solve the problem just defies all recent history. 40,000 came across the border 20 years ago. 400,000 10 years ago. $20 billion. 3 times the number of border agents we have put on in the last 10 years. And it's probably double that today. You just can't spend enough money on those. You can't get enough agents. You have to look beyond that. You have to look at what is happening here in the United States in terms of employment and tough enforcement. And that is what we are about in this legislation. But let me just point out what this chart says, Mr. President. These are deaths due to unauthorized border crossings. So you go from 1997 to 325 in 1998 and 491, and the list goes on, 391, 371, 412, 369, 443. These are the deaths that, primarily in the desert. Now we can ask ourselves, why did we have this significant increase in 1997 to 1998? Why did it go from 129 to 329, 325? You know what happened during that period of time? The fence went up in Southern California. And as these extensive, we have now, 67 miles of fencing at the present time. And in our in the legislation, in the key areas which have been identified as the urban areas, we also provide the resources for targeted areas in Arizona. But, Mr. President, this is what's happened. As the increasing building of the construction of that fence, what was happening is we were driving these individuals that were wanted to come to the United States to take these jobs, which employers offered to them, which they shouldn't have offered if we had an effective system. But they had to travel across the greater desert. They had to travel across in the mountains, and they at dramatically higher risk in terms of their own safety and in terms of their own security. The totality of the pressure for coming here in the United States was not reduced, and the totality of the people that got in here was not reduced. But what happened was the dramatic increase in the cost of lives. Now that may mean some to some people, and something may not mean much to others. Mr. President, as the senator again from New Hampshire pointed out, he talked about the new technology that was out there. He talked about the unmanned aerial vehicles that we need to get and bring on place. He talked about all of the newer kinds of technology, which, as he pointed out, and I believe, and as the testimony presents itself, is really effective in developing the virtual wall. The virtual wall from technology, the virtual wall that can really provide the security which this nation needs. And I support that. And I'll support certainly the resources to be able to do it. But, Mr. President, this is a feel-good amendment, and we need to do things which are serious and which are important in terms of the border. This doesn't happen to meet that particular requirement, and I hope the Senate won't accept it.